being on the show.
Thank you so much, Chris. Appreciate it.
If you love a fascinating, multifaceted story with the interesting characters, I think you're going to love this next book on the Friday Night Author Roundtable. The book is called Tares Among the Wheat by author H. Melvin James from Fulton Books. Mel, thank you for being on the show.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Now, tell everybody a little about this story.
Well, the book is about a story within a story. The outer story that begins the book is only 10 months in the year 1970, and it concerns a widowed young woman she's a young mother, and she has an unfortunate accident and goes into a coma. During that 10 months, she's visited in the hospital by a mysterious stranger who tells her stories of her ancestors. And so that opens up the frame story that roughly covers the period from 1890 to 1970, where the two stories converge at the end.
Now, what inspired you to write this story? Where did that all kind of start?
From my early childhood, growing up on a farm, all of my aunts and uncles, my grandparents were all farmers. And my grandparents were all homesteaders in the Oklahoma Land Run of 1893. They were mixed, different countries of origin, and they married, and so one grandfather was Czech Republic. The grandmother he was married to was full-blooded Irish. My other grandparents were German and Dutch, and so they all had their own traditions and their own fables and that sort of thing, and they liked to tell stories. And they were a colorful lot. They told lots of stories about their homesteading, their pioneering, their immigration to America, and I was fascinated by that. So once I retired, I finally had time to write down and start thinking about including that sort of stories into a book that was not a copy of their experiences, but was patterned after those experiences.
Now, how was it working with Fulton Books to get this book published and to be able to share this story?
I've been very delighted and pleased with my publisher. I retired from 40 years in industry. I've worked with lots of contracts, and I was pleased to find a company that gave a contract that was straightforward. And more pleased when they fulfilled every part of that contract. Beyond the written agreement, though, the people I worked with at Fulton Books were helpful and friendly, considerate, and that was in addition to their being knowledgeable and professional. I don't think I could have chosen a better publisher, especially this being my first novel.
I know this is Volume 1. What can we expect from Volume 2, and are you working on anything new right now?
Volume 2 has been released last month.
Oh, excellent.
So the two volumes are out there. Collectively, there's 1,258 pages of what I think is very entertaining reading. I've started to get some reviews back on my book, and they're very positive. I am working on another book. The next book is going to be quite different from this novel. It's going to be a classical detective story written in first person. And again, I'm going to write, as the old advice is, about something I know. This is a murder mystery that takes place on an isolated military base in the Arctic Circle. I look forward to writing that book.
Oh, excellent. That sounds exciting. I can't wait for that now. Now, this book, Tares Among the Wheat, when people read this, what do you hope is the most important thing they get from it, the most important message here?
I think the overall message is perseverance, hope, faith, and keep trying, and in the end, things will work out. Life goes on. And part of that struggle is not only for oneself, but for people that follow you, whether they be your descendants or whether they be your neighbors or your fellow countrymen.
Well, that's a fantastic message, and I think this is going to be a fantastic read and an interesting read, and I encourage everyone to pick up their copy. The book is called Tares Among the Wheat, Volume 1. Of course, Volume 2 also out as well by author H. Melvin James from Fulton Books. You can pick up your copy today, Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, iTunes, Google Play, online, as well as at the brick-and-mortar stores, just a few of the locations. And Mel, thank you for being on the show.
Oh, thank you very much. I enjoyed it.